Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So we're going to go ahead and continue on and push through another level. We are rapidly approaching the collector and our goal of becoming uncollected on the backup account. Couple things before I continue. First off, I want to thank everyone who has been watching the videos, who has liked, who has commented, and everyone who has subscribed. We have grown quite a bit so far, and I am extremely excited to see where we go from here. I've mentioned it before that our original goal was to allow the channel to control this account, which we're going to start doing some polls as soon as we're available to do that. Also, on top of that, too, our next goal is to, once we hit 100 subscribers, this account is going to leave my main alliance and we are going to start a channel alliance. Anybody who's interested in being part of a series on how to grow alliances, wants to have say in what's going on, everything else, we will give you that opportunity. I know I've already talked to a few people that are interested, and we'll be taking applications once we get closer to the 100 subscriber mark. Just wanted to take a moment and thank everybody before we go ahead and get into this. Okay, so right off the bat here, we are going to go ahead and stick with the usual team. I will show you we have been doing some leveling up here. We do have Apocalypse up further, working on getting Stark Spidey up in there, a few others. Obviously, I want to continue with how we've been going. There's a few things that are definitely going to be important with this level. We want some high damage dealers, which we've got Aegon and Captain Marvel movie. Tigra is going to play a huge part here. And also on top of that, we're going to have Colossus is going to be very crucial for the final fight. I'm going to go ahead and get in here and we're going to talk about why that is. So right off the bat, we'll talk about the global node here. And with the global node, we still have the role reversal that we've talked about on plenty of occasions. And then our more important one is going to be the masochism. Now, similar to the last level, whereas every time we gained a buff, they got regen. Now we have a masochism, which is every time we place a debuff, they gain a 5% max regen. So that is going to be one of those things that you're going to be careful about. You want to make sure that you're not putting multiple debuffs on champions. And if you are, that you're making sure that that you're able to outdeal the damage, outdeal the regen that you're causing there. Here is where we're going to talk about Colossus. Okay. Caltrops, which we could go up and remove, but that is not going to be the path we take for a couple different reasons. Number one, if we were going to take that path, pretty much we'd want to do almost all bleed immune champions. But with Caltrops, every time you dash backwards against the enemy, it causes a bleed that lasts for 6 seconds. If dashing back is not something that's easy to avoid, especially not in a boss fight. Now, that path here, as I said, part of it, I just don't like facing Juggernaut. and if we can avoid going through him, we're going to. But the other thing about this is if we come up this way, we have we have a couple things that we can do here. First off, we're going to go ahead and remove the transducers here and the plague mind, um, because the defender rewards more power when struck by its present drain of the attacker's power. You gotta watch that. And then also that plague mind, the attacker's power drains every 30 seconds, which is another thing that can run into a problem for us on a few different ones that we'd be going to. And then on top of that, we come up here, and I think, in spite the fact that he just got his recent buff, I'm going to go ahead, just go through Hulk here because of the Optimus and the Pessimist, which are going to give us a bit of frustration while fighting Hulk, but getting these removed so that we don't have to deal with that frustration against the boss there is very important to me. What that is looking at is, of course, he gets extra boss when he's above 75% or below 25% health. So we are going to have to get that first 25% off of him quickly. And then when he gets to that last 25%, we're going to have to again deal the damage out even quicker because, of course, with Hulk, he does get stronger the lower his health gets. So let's go ahead and get started here. Okay, so right off the bat here, we're going to go ahead and head up and start with Yellow Jacket here. Obviously, role reversal comes into play here. Aegon would typically be the first choice, but we'll go ahead and get Tigra in there because it's a role reversal. Pretty much Yellow Jacket's going to be a pretty straightforward fight as long as we are avoiding that special one so that we don't get the power sting on us. We should be fairly easily able to go ahead and take him down. Let's go ahead and get our first sense active there. Obviously, Tigra is ideal for for making sure that we get past that special one until we turn around and take it to the face anyways because we just didn't get into position quickly enough. And now we gotta avoid using our specials for a few moments. But that just means that we're gonna go ahead and special 3, which will get us our senses if he doesn't go down here, which I believe we may go ahead and finished him off right there. Would have been nice to get the senses up and finish him a little quicker there, especially since we took several hard hits on that one. Like I said, I plan on Tigra doing quite a bit of our work here today, so I'm just going to go ahead and bring her back up. Plus, on top of that, too, we are in the last few hours of items used anyway, so let's just go ahead and put a few more points up for the Alliance. Okay, so I think we're gonna... Let's just go ahead and egg on this one. Go ahead and start getting that combo meter up so that if we need him in a later fight, we've got it. Obviously, we need to work on getting Captain Marvel's combo meter or charge counters up as well. Now, I've mentioned it in previous videos, the first few levels of becoming uncollected are fairly straightforward. We started getting a little more difficult on the last level, and these last three are going to be a true test of your patience. Plan on high hit combos. Plan on watching closely. You're gonna want to avoid taking hits as much as possible. I mean, we saw on this last fight with Tigra how easily it was that, just a few hits took quite a bit out of us on that, and just that small mistake put us to the point where we had to go ahead and spend a few potions right off the bat. That being said, go ahead and finish Black Widow there, but don't get discouraged, okay? Like I said, high hit combos are not going to be uncommon here, and especially if you're using lower level champions, which is what most of us did when I went through it the first time and got uncollected on my main account. But then again, that's part of the reason why we started doing this series already. Obviously, I'm not the only one who is doing this at a later point. I know several people that have started the game within the last year and a half, or not too much longer than that. Especially coming and doing this in the early part of 2023. We're doing this because the fact that some of the things have changed. This fight right here is a great example of that. I don't remember there being a random encounter here. But also on top of that too, there are plenty of other people out there that have this series out, showing off how to get through this. But you're talking a lot of those channels. That was when Blade would have been your most relevant champion. Or even further back than that. I wouldn't say that we're going all the way back to 12.0 by any means, because that Uncollected came out after that. But we are definitely talking about not having access to a Tigra. A lot of people were doing this with 4 stars or very low level 5 stars, but it is becoming easier and easier to get 5 stars and to get them ranked up. It is becoming easier and easier to get them awakened. Obviously, the easier it is to get them, the easier it is to awaken them. But that being said, if that's where we're going to be at, we need to look at this from the perspective of having a little better champions, being able to do this, not necessarily being worried about the fact of trying to do this with rank 4 or rank 5 4 stars, or rank 2 5 stars. Obviously, I did it at that point, and plenty of others did. But just because we had to make it more difficult, because that's what was available to us, doesn't mean that those out there in the community now have to. Well, it looks like we got a few charges out of her, but we will be reviving and going back in. I just actually had an alliance mate reach out to me yesterday and ask me about becoming Cavalier. And I told him the same thing I'm going to say right now, which is just remember, be prepared to have some units ready, have some revives ready, have some potions ready, and push as far as you can until you run out of those things. And then when you run out of them, farm them back up, go back in, and do it again until you get there. Oof, I forgot the end of her combo there. Okay, we did go ahead and trigger that regen. Oh, we didn't forget the end of the combo, but we did not get in there quite right. That's okay. We'll go ahead and bring Captain Marvel movie in and possibly grab another few charges here. Or just finish her off. Either way, that gets us through this fight and on to the next one. So, again, just don't get discouraged, guys. Just keep pushing. Okay, now I talked about this already. We are going to go for the Psylocke fight to get off the Transducer and the Plague Minded because I do feel those are definitely going to be more important than worrying about the combo shield and the checkmate. Um, but that being said, this is where Tiger is going to come in really important for us because this Dr. Voodoo fight is going to be one that you're going to want to try and one shot. Okay, so right off the bat here, you're going to have to keep in mind that when it comes to Dr. Voodoo, okay, one of the reasons I've always loved him as a champ is because for the first, I'm trying to remember what it is. It's the first 10 seconds of the fight. Um, he has regen. So, like I said, you want to be able to get him down right off the bat. Um, Meaning one take. You if you can avoid going back in a second time on this fight, you're gonna save yourself a lot of headache. Um, worst case scenario, you just back off and dodge for the first 10 seconds of the first fight. You take him out, and you're good. But you have to keep in mind that, of course, with the masochism and that immediate regen, um, if you're on a second or third go at him, you could undo literally everything that you do to him in your first attempt. So, ideally, if we can here, we're going to go ahead and try and let Tiger do all the work, shut down a lot of his pretty much everything. Now, mind you, that was a poor choice right there. You know, letting him catch us with the special two there. But I'm trying to be a little more aggressive here, and ooh, got a little too aggressive. I said it. Be patient. Be patient. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and revive Tigra and take her back in because her uh, neutralize may go ahead and take care of the work there for us, so that we don't have to worry too much about how much he's going to regen. This isn't going to be pretty. I will fully admit that. Especially if he is getting too aggressive here, which he started off fairly aggressive there. But we are going to go ahead and get him down here. But you can see there right off the bat that regen, that's why I talked about that. If you can get him on that first shot, or if you've got somebody who will, avoid, even, I mentioned him before, Blade, somebody that's going to turn around and shut down that regen, um, either, Yondu, either of the visions, um, if you can shut down the regen, you don't have to worry about it as much. Obviously, with Void, it's not shutting it down, it's reversing it on him. That was bad. I was going for the special one. I hit I hit the button, and it totally did not respond. Um, Again, this is another fight that I was not planning for. Um, because this is a second time that we've gotten a random encounter that I don't believe was even here a couple years ago. I know even when I went back through and reviewed other people's channels before I decided to make my own channel to start doing this series. How we got caught there, I'm not 100% sure, because I dodged that and then somehow still caught it. So we burn our charges. But what I was saying there is, when I go through and review other people's channels, uh, I don't remember there being two random encounters on this path. Trying to replace as many of those charge counters as we can here, and we just keep getting caught. Apologize, guys. You watched me on the first time I fought him, and it went a lot smoother than this. I don't know. Just a little bit of bad gameplay there. A little thrown off by the second random encounter here. It was not a fight I was planning for, so we took a few shots to the face there that we weren't planning on, and that we are going to end up costing us a bit on. But that is not going to stop us, guys. We're going to go ahead and get through this. We're going to go ahead and get to that boss, and then we are going to go ahead and get on to these last two levels after this one, because it is definitely time to get uncollected so that we can turn around and start shooting for Cavalier on this account and Thronebreaker on the main account. It's going to be a fun journey to take, and I look forward to sharing my personal journey with everybody for both of those modes. And again, the reminder of why, if you want to play Aegon, having Star-Lord on your team is a great benefit. That combo shield there definitely kept us smacking her in the face for a lot more points. So let's go ahead and continue on to Magic here. For Magic and Doctor Strange, we'll go ahead and try Aegon, but I have a feeling we're just going to end up reviving Tiger and coming back in. Okay, with Magic here, we're going to have to be very careful. Keep in mind, obviously, we have the Masochism still in place. We also have Buffet here, which she can, whenever an attacker triggers a buff, which we obviously do with Aegon, we give her regen, and she's also got enhanced special abilities, which means her limbo is going to trigger even more so, which again is another source of regen for her. So obviously right there you saw the limbo right off the bat, so you got to watch that. Make sure that you are not attacking while she has limbo. I say that just in time to attack her while she triggers limbo. But all you're doing is building up her power while she will immediately turn around and heal whatever damage you've done to her. Stay off her for the limbo. I mean, obviously that's overridden by if you can finish her before the limbo ends. But that is often easier said than done. So if she has limbo active at all, back off, avoid her, and don't take the risk. We're going to run into a similar thing here with Doctor Strange. Again, enhanced special or enhanced abilities, the buffet node, the masochism, multiple ways for him to just sit here and regen on us. Obviously, the whole point of having Aegon is getting that combo meter up, and obviously we're carrying over from fight to fight, so we're already at that 50, which puts him in a better spot for us as far as being able to be a damage dealer for us. Obviously, if you can get him to the full 100, that's where you're just going to walk through just about everybody. Okay, so I knew Strange would be a little bit of a fight here. That's not a problem. I am not deterred in any way, shape, or form. We got a nice little start there. We're going to go ahead and take Colossus in just because of the fact that right off the bat, we already have so many champions down that might as well go ahead and either finish it with Colossus and keep going until we lose him, or we just kind of roll. Because at this point we have done enough that a team revive is going to do us a lot more good than spending those little revives. One of the other things I want to mention here, and I just did it there, so you got to be really careful on that, is anytime Strange has his armor up buff on, you want to be careful on trying to throw any specials, because they're pretty much a waste while he has that active. Okay, and we got up to that special 2 there, so we got the unblockable. Obviously, we didn't finish Strange off of that one, off of Colossus there. Knew there was a good chance we probably wouldn't, but again, resource intensity. So if we're gonna go ahead and make sure that we're continuing on without having to use too much, I want to go ahead and do the team revive as opposed to the one at a times. But that does put us at a point that I can bring in Tigra here, who I fully intended for this fight from the get-go, but obviously we had those couple spots that she didn't get to perform as well, because of user error. But hey, I've never shied away from admitting that I am not perfect. So, but we got Doctor Strange down there, we got Magic down. Now to get Hulk down and head for the boss. Okay, guys. I told you guys from the get-go, Hulk is going to be a pain. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that I have Tiger 100% ready for this. We are going to try and use role reversal to our full advantage. I pointed it out before, but that optimism and pessimism is glass half full, glass half empty. But you know what? Either way, it isn't in our favor. We want that middle of the glass. We want to get him down, get that first 25% off of him, and weaken him up, so that we can deal with the middle of the fight. Because the middle of the fight is definitely going to be more in our advantage than the first part of it, and definitely more so in our advantage than that last 25%. So we got that first part off. I'd like to get that. There we go. We got the Hunter Sense in place just in time to finish him off. For those of you who are fans of Tigra, and I know there's a couple of you out there watching the channel, in particular one that I will shout out because I know how much she loves her. I know honestly she will probably be running when she does this path, because I know she's rapidly approaching it. She'll probably be running her prized 5-star Tigra, who she does have awakened, which is going to be a big advantage, and also a 6-star which I know how giddy she was when she got. Um, so, just to show you, shut down Hulk. He's gonna, she'll do her job. And I know how excited that'll make you. Okay, Loki here, we don't have any link nodes on. We don't have anything to worry about as far as that type of thing goes. We do have to be careful. He is hard to get range on because of some of his stances. The other thing that you want to be careful on when you're dealing with Loki, other than just not making mistakes, which I obviously did make several there. We should have actually brought in Captain Marvel movie here, but that's okay. She's not really going to be relevant for the Storm fight because of that cow trip, so we'll just go ahead and let Aegon do his work. But what I was saying there is you want to avoid the special one if you have buffs on, because he will steal them. But even more so, you want to avoid that special 2 because it is unblockable, and that will definitely be a pain for you. Also, do not let him get to a special 3. He'll put a curse on you, and that will definitely be another one of those things that will give you a hard time to deal with. So, guys, we have made it to Storm here. Still got a couple things active, but we have taken quite a bit off of her. So let's get in here. Let's revive up Colossus, or potion him up a little bit, and let him do as much work as we can. Obviously, if I'd been smart about it, we would have gotten Captain Marvel up to 22 charges, so that instantly she could have gone indestructible, so we wouldn't have had to worry about that cow trip, but we'll see if that's a factor for us or not. Okay, again, I mentioned it. Obviously, if we had taken this upper path, there would have been less things that we would have unlinked, but one of the big things that we would have unlinked is that cow trips. That is going to be the most important thing about this particular fight, is making sure that you have, if you do not take that upper path, which I do not advise, if especially if you are not, if you're dealing with, if you're still running 4 stars or low level 5 stars, I would avoid that upper path 100%. I don't care if you have 5 amazing bleed immune champions, Colossus, you have Apocalypse to go ahead and Horseman him. You've got plus on top of that, Apocalypse eventually ends up bleed immune as well. So he's valuable there. Iceman, who again you could Horseman, Ultron, who has that regen and everything. I mean, even if you had the ideal bleed immune for that path, I would still consider avoiding that particular path to start with. Unless you're dealing with well ranked up champions with full benefits here, because it is going to be a pain to get through certain things. I was hoping to avoid the shock on that special 1 there, but we did not do that. So we're gonna still got our 50% of the way down. Okay, So he more than did his job there. Captain Marvel movie, we have no charges on, which does not bode well for us. But what I'm going to do here, in spite of the cow trips and the bleed, which we're going to kill ourselves off quickly because of um, we have we have 3 healthy champions left here. Let's go ahead and just take off what we can off of her so that we can save a little bit on units, and just go ahead and bring Colossus in for the finishing blow there. Um, obviously we did quite a bit with him right off the bat there. We'll see how long Aegon can survive this and maybe get her down to dead. Okay, so we saved units, we saved potions, we saved her vibes, and that gives us more to work with as we go on to the next level and continue our road to Uncollected. Um, I don't know, guys. Obviously, I made a few mistakes there. Nowhere near as many mistakes as we made on the last level, but still made a few and still got through it. Okay. I hope I didn't make that look too easy whatsoever, because I will admit, definitely with some of the champions I have, it's a little easier. Um, Aegon definitely does work that, if he wasn't where he's at, it would make this a lot more difficult. Uh, Having Tigra in there is a godsend, especially having her at rank 5. If we had her awakened, I think we would have probably cheesed this. Again, shout out to one of my favorite summoners out there who I know is going to be running a 5 and a 6-star to walk through this with. And I know that she will enjoy the fact that she's going to have a little easier time being able to do this with Tigra. Somebody who was not available when a lot of us went through and became uncollected when we did. Obviously, when I did with my main account. So, I mean, thank you guys. Again, I said it at the beginning and I will say it again. I appreciate every single one of you, every comment, every like, every one of you who shares one of my videos, and especially every one of you who has taken the time to subscribe. This already, you know, has been an amazing journey. I am so looking forward to continuing to get to know every one of you in the community and build you guys up to be my bigger MCOC family. Um, I've had a pretty decent sized family for several years now because of all the alliances I have ran, all the people that I've gotten to play with over the years, and I am so excited to expand that family and expand it out and get to know more and more members of this community, because I do believe that the MCOC community is one of the greatest communities out there, and there is nothing better than to be willing to help one another, encourage one another, and watch every one of us take our journeys to each progression level, each event on our own, at our own pace, and still be celebrated no matter when you get to. So remember, guys, hit that like button, and I will see you back for the next video and the next stage, and we will be uncollected very soon. Peace out.